letter from the Gantry.
And before you start, Martin, with your letter from the Gantry, let me read a message that we've received from Jesus in Houston, Texas. Martin's letters from the Gantry are brilliant. Absolutely love hearing and reading them. Officially listened to all episodes as of 10 minutes ago, and 100% agree with you, that's me, on the dislike of Chelsea fans singing "We Hate Tottenham" during the playing of the Liquidator. Have really fallen in love with the show and look forward to each new episode. So,
Jesus, you say?
Yeah.
Jesus for you. The Euro quarter-final against Switzerland, a landmark for Gareth Southgate, in charge of England for the 100th time. He got the job after a match against Slovakia. He almost lost it when another international against Slovakia was stretching the patience of a nation and himself to the limit. On the field, England were being stretched, but not in the end to breaking point. The obituaries, though, were being written in the press box when Kyle Walker, a Southgate stalwart, hurled in a long throw. Mark Gahey, a player at Gareth's first club, Crystal Palace, flicked on, and Jude Bellingham turned termination into merely a near-death experience. Bellingham could now fully celebrate his 21st birthday, which was the day before. It was already his 33rd cap. Opportunities for young players have been plentiful under Gareth Southgate. I'm pretty sure it was England's first goal from a long throw in a major tournament since the World Cup of 1982. In Bilbao, I was lucky enough to be there, when the thrower was Steve Coppell, who some 8 years later, as manager of Crystal Palace, would give the young Southgate his first-team debut. The Gahey of that day was Terry Butcher. The Bellingham was Brian Robson. It was just 27 seconds into England's opening game against France. This time it seemed a similar amount of time from what would have been the very final minute. When the whistle actually went, it was now to signal extra time. Less than 60 seconds into that extra time, England had scored again. It will be pointed out from critics of conservatism under Southgate that 3 of England's substitutes were involved. The counter to that is that indeed 3 of England's substitutes were involved, not sitting on the bench. For the record, they were Cole Palmer with a free kick, Eberechi Eze keeping the play alive, Ivan Toney, whose header across goal gave Harry Kane the perfect moment. So for Gareth's England, another quarter-final, the stage where the adventure stopped in the last World Cup, a very costly penalty miss against France, and it came just 2 years after a shootout defeat which edged England out of being the defending champions at this Euro. Prior to that, 4th in the 2018 World Cup, and the following year, 3rd in the inaugural Nations League, beating Switzerland, incidentally, to that bronze medal. It is a fine body of work in an increasingly competitive market. What also has to be recognised is the humility and integrity he's brought with him. He sets high standards of behaviour and practices what he preaches. He is a public figure and finds himself in the crossfire of any political issue which touches the game. His responses have been statesmanlike. He rarely gets a word out of place. Maybe it shouldn't be part of the job, but it is what it is. And Gareth Southgate has coped very capably with many an awkward situation outside his expected level of expertise. His very clear influence over the players has helped the England national team reconnect with the public. It's a strong bond and survived negative reaction and recriminations following the disappointing performances in the first 4 games at Euro 2024. He knows he would have been out on 99 had England been eliminated. And to continue the cricket metaphor, he's been through some very nervous 90s to reach his century. He's only the 3rd England manager to take charge of 100 games. The first was the original appointment, Walter Winterbottom, 139 internationals between 1946 and 1963, but those were very different times. Alf Ramsey succeeded Walter and became Sir Alf during his tenure after guiding England to the World Cup in 1966, still the country's only major international trophy. Ramsey had 113 games and did finish 3rd in the much trimmer Euro of 1968. His win percentage overall was 61. Southgate very much on the same page. As a player, he reached 57 caps, a fine international career. His penalty failure in the shootout in the semi-final of Euro 96 could have finished a lesser man. It was only his 9th game for England. He dealt with adversity and came back stronger. I suspect that even if England are to become European champions, he will feel it's time to hand over the reins. England always expects. Under that pressure, on the field and off it, Gareth Southgate has always stood up to be counted.